Something that amazes me nowadays is how did 15-year-old me manage to make a monthly recurring revenue with a very simple website with no investment upfront and just some basic programming knowledge. Are you interested? Maybe it can give you some inspiration for your own solutions. Let's get into it. So when I was around 15, 16 years old, I was into reading fanfics. So this is stories written by complete amateurs that were published for free in this case, Wattpad. Wattpad was, or still is, a social network for amateur writers, where you can share your stories and others can read them, share them, But I had a problem. I was clinged to a story and I wanted to read it while abroad. So we used to go abroad with my family and I didn't have data connection in the phone back then when abroad. So I needed to get those stories in a format that I could store myself to read there. Wattpad didn't allow this. It was a website, so the website wouldn't work without a network connection. And additionally, the app had no feature like this that allowed you to download the stories. And I really wanted to read while on vacation, right? So I created a Python script that would just scrape the website. And at the time, it wasn't that hard. I mean, there weren't so many hindering to scrappers and so on. So it was relatively easy. I made a script that you could pass a story URL, like Wattpad story URL to it, and then you would get a TXT file with all of the text. This was not super simple to do. Like the stories are broken into chapters, and then each chapter is broken into pages. And well, it had some logic. It wasn't just a very simple code, but it's simple if you compare it to any other service as a service tool that we use nowadays, right? So I was happy with my script. I could download the stories, and I was the first user, let's say. But I never thought about this being useful to others until one day a friend came to me and said, "Hey, I have the same problem that you do. I also want to go on vacation and carry with me chapters that I didn't read of my favorite stories." And then I thought, okay, I think it would be very hard to teach this friend how to install Python, how to set it up, and how to run the script so that they could download the stories directly. So I said, I think it's just easier if I make a simple website that allows you to put a URL, and then anyone can just paste an URL, click a button, and get a TXT, right? There's nothing to explain there, right? So this is what I did. I did a very simple website, this one that you can see here, and there it just had a text input to paste the story URL and a download button. That's it. It was free to use, and it was relatively fast, like maybe 10 seconds, 30 maximum, you will get your story as a TXT. Very cool. This was in the backend, very dirty, like it was like a PHP app, and then there was a Python script running somewhere, and I'm not really sure how I called the script or anything, but let's forget about that. Like probably it wasn't the most secure app, but it went well, luckily. Anyway, I posted to this website, and it actually started getting a lot of traffic. Like I didn't make too many efforts to do it, like maybe in some forums where I actually looked for a solution before, I said, well, look, I couldn't find any solution and I actually built this website. Probably you guys are interested, right? But it's not that I pushed it or paid for marketing or did anything crazy. I just mentioned it in a few parts, and magically the site started getting some stable and decent traffic. So I was pretty happy about it, and I was thinking, okay, what if I put some ads to this page? Could I actually monetize it? I had no idea of any other way of monetizing it, or it would have been too hard for my programming skills to build a checkout or something like that. So I just went with the basic thing, that is putting ads in the website, right? I applied to Google Ads to have ads on my site and monetize it, and surprisingly they accepted. I say surprisingly because this page goes clearly against the policy of Wattpad. Wattpad doesn't allow you to scrap their page, doesn't allow you to use their content and so on. Yes. But somehow it worked, right? Google accepted it, and I didn't really care about these things. So I got ads, and the website kept growing and kept having some traffic, and I started making revenue every month from the ads. Most of the users were from Philippines, like 90% of the traffic, and they seem to love the website. Like they were using it every day. I opened a Twitter account because, to say like the service is back up and things like that, because Wattpad would constantly make it harder for me to scrap their website. So they would change the structure or have some random errors and things like that. So I found myself having to update the script to adapt it to the new Wattpad changes, right? Anyway, I wanted a way to tell my users, hey, you can use this again. And created a Twitter account, which is now suspended because of Twitter's policy. I'm not surprised about it. And people would text me seconds after the website stopped working. That was nice. It was a very, very nice experience to have. Like, wow, I made something people want. And people like it. People care when it doesn't work. So, I was pretty happy with the result. And the revenue itself, it was around 50 euros per month, which you might think is not much, but well, it's 50 euros before all of the inflation. So on nowadays euros, it would be a bit more. And for a 15-year-old kid, that's a lot. That's a lot, especially if you are not selling your time for it. Nevertheless, it did take a lot of time because Wattpad mechanism to prevent scraping became better and better. They started banning my IP, and I had to build something with Tor that it would detect when I was banned, because they also would hide that you were banned. They would give random stuff or empty pages and things like that. It was very clever from their side, but basically I had to design a system to detect if my scrapper, like the bot script, was banned or my IP, because they were banning the IP, and then switch the Tor secret to get another one. Doing it through Tor made it slower and made more errors happen, right, like timeouts and so on. So the script became a bit more complex, and the maintenance of it too. And I found that I was constantly working to update the script, and yes, like fighting with Wattpad, like they changed something, I changed the script, they improved their banning IP blocking mechanism, I improved my way of avoiding it. And at some point, it didn't make sense. I wanted to focus on my studies, and even if it was 50 euros per month, it wasn't worth the time that it required to maintain it. Another interesting fact is that I would actually make more money when the site didn't work than when it did. Like, of course, this is something that only happens in the short term, right? But when users went into the website and the website wasn't working, like download button didn't do anything, they would be more likely to actually click on the ads. So that made me more money. And I had little incentives to fixing the website. In the long term, having a website that doesn't work is not good for revenue. But at that point, like in a particular day, I said, like, should I fix it or should I just keep earning money from the website not working, right? And at some point I abandoned it, and the traffic started decreasing, and almost disappeared. Anyway, the lessons that I get from this story is that you don't really need much to start an online business, if you consider this an online business. But as a proof of concept, I think it counts. So the costs for this were really none. I had a domain already, but even if you had to buy one, what is that, like $10? Yeah, it's money, but it's not something that's unreachable to you. If you already have a laptop or a computer, it should be an affordable amount. And then for the server, I just used an old computer. Like, I got some old computer from some family member, I guess. I installed Linux into it and I used it as a server. I got the electricity from my family house, and there were really no more expenses to it. I created a Twitter account and designed the website and the content myself. So with $10, I started something that was making 50 euros a month as a 15-year-old kid, and with no huge or advanced programming knowledge. What I'm trying to say with this is that I'm trying to encourage you to try. If you have any idea, just give it a try. You don't really need a huge investment. You don't really need servers, resources, or a lot of technical knowledge to give it a try. Try your proof of concept, your MVP, and see how it goes. And another lesson from here is that when you fix a problem for yourself, that increases the probability of your solution being valued by others. What I mean is, you can always try to fix problems you don't have. But if you don't have those problems and also you are not expert on them, it's going to be a bit hard for you to be successful, or it's going to be harder than if you choose something that you actually need or you are actually an expert in. So in this case, it was some solution for a problem that I had myself. Then I found someone else that had that problem, improved the solution to also cover their case, and made it public. People liked it, people used it, I got a revenue, and I got a very, very nice experience from having a SaaS tool with no investment and little maintenance, little development cost. So what are you waiting for? Do you have any ideas that you would like to give a try? Let me know in the comments. See you!